good friends at the Bytown Museum have a temporary new exhibit. It's called the Gallant Thousand, Ottawa, and the South African War. Let's find out more right now. We say hello to Robin Etherington, who's been on the program before. Hi, Executive Director, Bytown Museum. Grant Vogl here as well, and you are the Collections and Exhibitions Manager at the Bytown Museum. Good to have you on the program. Robin, let's talk about this amazing museum. 102 years now?
It's 102. Isn't that amazing?
Wow.
We've been serving Ottawa for 102 years, and we're going for another 102.
Of course. Congratulations. What a great museum.
It is.
And now, Grant, you've got this new exhibit. Why was this exhibit developed?
So 2019 actually marks the 120th anniversary of the start of the South African War, more commonly known as the Boer War. And for us to recognize that anniversary, but also look at the local perspective and just tell the stories that our museum and our collection reflect is very important for us. Also, it's a very often forgotten about conflict that we want to bring back into the light.
Can I ask, though, being the Collections and Exhibitions Manager, was there a lot of research put into this? Was it difficult to find these pieces?
Not difficult in that sense because we have a very organized collection that I pride myself on. But it is a lot of work to kind of take a story and develop it into an exhibition from concept and research to artifact selection and actually, picking paint colors and right down to actually installing the exhibition. So it's quite a process.
Let's talk about some of the highlights. There's obviously a local perspective on this, so what can people look forward to seeing?
So it's a very photograph-heavy exhibition because of the space and the size of the space. And it's broken down into themes and presented chronologically, but essentially it's not a blow-by-blow account of military actions in this general and that general. It's a very locally focused exhibition where we tell stories about people, men and women from Ottawa who actually took part in this conflict, and we try and look at it from the perspective of both sides. So we're not just talking about the British and the Commonwealth, we're talking about the South African perspective as well. And
in these photos, I mean, you could see some of the Parliament buildings there and just stuff that people would recognize today. And of course, this took place on the same grounds. And it's also set up to tell us or teach us about how Ottawa citizens actually learned about the conflict too. So how have you done that?
Yeah, so we like to present the kind of modern historical perspective from the museum standpoint. A very unbiased approach to that, but I also wanted people who visit the exhibition to learn about it the way that Ottawans would have learned about it. So each artifact and theme is paired with an excerpt from a newspaper article contemporary to what's being talked about in that part of the museum exhibition. So you can get the museum's perspective and you can get the perspective that would have been coming out 120 years ago.
Okay, so Robin, tell us about the Women's Canadian Historical Society of Ottawa and their role in this exhibit.
Well, actually, they can be very proud of themselves. It is because of this group of women who founded the museum, actually. They started the collection in 1898 and established a museum in 1917. But their menfolk, their sons, their fathers, their uncles, came back from South Africa, and they claimed the artifacts, the clothing, the medals. Of great pride for Grant and I is one artifact in particular is an album of about 106 very graphic photographs from the war. It was very rare to have photographs of the Boer War, and it's in our collection, which are some of them are the ones that you saw today.
Yeah. So that's obviously open to the public. Anybody can see all of this
Absolutely.
stuff? Okay. How long, Grant, does it take to put an exhibit like this together?
For us, generally, it's 1 to 2 years at a minimum for a temporary exhibition like this, from getting an idea and deciding as a team, are we marking an anniversary? Is it just a story we want to tell or an aspect of the collection we want to highlight? And then from there, doing research, drawing on our collection to decide on which artifacts, and then actually thinking about, okay, here's all the stories we could tell, but what can we actually fit in a space of this size that people can digest in one short visit? So
it's a real labor of love, I bet.
It absolutely is, and I do love it.
Good. Robin, why is it so important for the Bytown Museum to continuously tell Ottawa stories?
Well, we do programs and everybody comes for fun, but the other side of our mandate is to actually tell the stories of Ottawa in a very historical and accurate fashion. The stories of Ottawa builds the community. It tells that we have a history, but we also have a future. And each time we do a temporary or special exhibition, it's another aspect of the history of Ottawa. And it's told through the stories of the people. That, I mean, it's not, we just didn't make this up.
Yeah, of course.
It's actually people's stories who served, in this case, in the Boer War. Many of the people who served in the Boer War went on to serve in the First World War. The one that comes to mind for me is Nurse Margaret Smith, who was a nurse in the Boer War and became the head nurse during the First World War.
That's amazing. This exhibit is taking place until February 17th, 2020, so we have some time to go check it out.
Absolutely.
I recommend that people do that at the Bytown Museum. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
More
Thank you.
coming up on Daytime.